10 students. Today we are going to continue with the chapter that is acid bases and salts. So in the previous video we have discussed about the families of salts and also the pH of salts, whether it will be acidic, basic or neutral, according to which the pH value of the salt can be determined. So now today we are going to talk about the next topic, wherein we will talk about a particular chemical from which we are able to obtain several other chemicals out of that by processing it. So let's see the next slide. Our chapter is acid bases and salts only. Now, so as we were talking about the topic salt, we are into the continuation of the same topic once again. So in the previous video, as we have already discussed, that when it comes to salt, the most common salt which comes into our mind is the sodium chloride. So yes, it is sodium chloride about which we are going to talk about in next few minutes, and then after we will talk about that there are few of the other chemicals which can be obtained by processing of sodium chloride, and today we will talk about one of the chemical with the with which the sodium chloride is able to produce here. So the salt we are going to talk about is the sodium chloride, which is written in its formula as NaCl. So this is the formula of sodium chloride, which is NaCl. Now this is how you can represent the ionic form of sodium chloride, wherein sodium is Na plus ion, sodium ion, whereas chlorine accepts one of the electron and becomes chloride ion, and therefore there is a formation of ionic bond, and henceforth sodium chloride is an ionic compound here. So this is the way how we can represent sodium chloride. Or the other way of representation of the same, you can see the pink ball is representing the sodium ion and the yellow colored ball is representing the chloride ion. So that is how again the sodium chloride structure can be represented. Okay, so if we talk about this particular structure, this is again the structure of sodium chloride, which is shown here. The red colored balls are showing the sodium ion, whereas the green colored balls are showing the chloride ion. This is a crystal structure and they are arranged in this pattern when it comes to the sodium chloride crystal formation. About this in detail you will be studying in class 11 in a more detailed way. Now in this table you are able to see certain informations here which are related to sodium chloride only, and here you can see the name of the compound, its chemical formula, its formula weight, which is the molecular mass actually, the color, which is colorless or white when it is in the pure form, then its luster is vitreous, then after physical form can be transparent to translucent cubic crystals, also powder or granules. Then after there you will find its density, its melting point, its boiling point and its solubility with the different substances. So these are few of the general physical properties which you can see here listed in this table. Now this is the slide which is showing you the daily life uses of sodium chloride. Here it is used directly for snow and ice control, and this is especially for those countries which are quite cold, and for melting the ice on the roads they use sodium chloride for this purpose. The sodium chloride can also be used as a food preservative and flavoring agent. So this is something which you all must have observed at home as well. It is used as a reagent for water softening. So softening of water here in the chapter carbon and its compound, we will talk about hard and soft water. So hard water and soft water is nothing like that water is hard or water is soft. It is the presence of different salts. If calcium or magnesium salts are present in water, it is considered to be hard water, and if the water is free from all these salts, it is considered as soft water. It is considered as a reagent for water softening. If the water is hard and it has to be converted into soft water, we can use sodium chloride as a reagent. And the last one is the most common one. It is used as a mineral in the animal diets and including human beings as well. Now here this is the same thing which you can all inculcate in your notes form. So you can see here the other things I have already discussed. One point, that sodium chloride is also called as stable salt because it is used as a most important food material. And however, stable salt used as food material is not pure sodium chloride, but it contains small amounts of potassium iodide also. And that is why we call the salt which we are using in our everyday life as iodized salt. And as you all know, iodine is very necessary for one of the gland for its functioning, that is the thyroid gland. If there is a deficiency of iodine in our body, it may lead to the disease called as goiter. I hope you all must be knowing this thing already. So here, for example, Tata salt, which is one of the very common salt which we find in almost everyone's house, it claims that iodide content is more than 15 ppm. Here ppm represents parts per million. So here, for this reason, table salt sold in the market is labeled as iodized salt because it is not pure sodium chloride, it is iodized salt or iodized salt. The presence of iodine or iodide is essential because it protects us from the thyroid disorders, that is the disorders of throat called as goiter. Now, from where we can extract this common salt? Now, the very first and the common source you all must be knowing is the seawater. And in previous classes, you must have been told about a process, that is evaporation, with the help of which we are able to extract the sodium chloride. We evaporate the water, and then after we are able to get the sodium chloride in under the seabeds. Now here you can see there is one historical event also which is related to the same, and that is Gandhiji's Dandi March, and it was for the recovery of salt from seawater. And here you will find it played a very important role for in the struggle for freedom. You all must have studied about in detail in your history. So please go through it once again so that you are able to correlate what you are going to study about sodium chloride chemically and what was its past related to the history. Now, so the second one is the rock salt. Rock salt is another form in which the solid deposits are found in several parts of the world. Like for example, Mandi, which is in the Himachal Pradesh in India, and Khewra of Punjab, which is in Pakistan. And due to the presence of impurities, if it is often brown in color, and it is called as rock salt. Beds of rock salt are believed to have formed as results of drying up of seas of very olden times. So rock salt is nothing, it is the salt which is another form of common salt, but it is again one of the source here. Now, the third source we find here is the inland lakes. Large quantities of salts are obtained by the natural evaporation of water in inland lakes. For example, Sambar Lake in Rajasthan, Great Salt Lake in Utah, USA, and Lake Elton in Russia. So, inland lakes, when the water evaporates naturally, it leads to the formation of large quantities of salt. So, that the third source here will be the inland lakes. The very first source was the seawater, which is the most common way of obtaining the salts. The second is the rock salt. Again, it is a common method here. and one of the natural method too, and in land lake is the another common and natural method by which we are able to obtain the sodium chloride salt. Now, although I've discussed about the properties previously, but let's see this once again. When we talk about the properties, the color and state, it's colorless crystalline substance with a melting point of approximately 820 degrees Celsius. Its solubility at room temperature is about 35.8 grams per 100 gram of water. So at room temperature, this much amount of sodium chloride is able to get dissolved in 100 gram of water. So, and also it does not vary much with the temperature. Solubility is almost similar with the temperature. Now, when it comes to action of heat at low temperature, that is 0 to 20 degrees Celsius, it exists as dihydrate, which means NaCl.2H2O. Two water molecule remains as a water of crystallization, which is associated with sodium chloride. On heating, a crackling sound is produced because the water molecule, which is water of crystallization here, gets dissociated from the same, and ultimately there is a crackling sound. Hygroscopic nature here means that if you leave the sodium chloride salt in the open atmosphere, it will take up the moisture from the atmosphere and will get wet, and that is why this property is called as hygroscopic nature. And why is it so? It is due to the presence of magnesium and calcium chloride in it. So, since sodium chloride is here not in the pure form, there will be some presence and some traces of magnesium and calcium chloride, because of which it will be hygroscopic in nature. Now, what happens if we are adding concentrated sulfuric acid onto sodium chloride and then we are heating it? So, upon heating, it will give out the fumes of hydrogen chloride, which is HCl gas, and along with that there will be formation of sodium hydrogen sulfate. So, if you would observe carefully here, there is a kind of double displacement reaction which is happening. So, there will be a reaction between sodium chloride and concentrated sulfuric acid. Now, what happens when it is allowed to undergo reaction with silver nitrate solution? There will be formation of a precipitate, that is the insoluble solid substance, which is called as precipitate of silver chloride, and along with that the other product will be sodium nitrate. So here these are the two products on reaction of sodium chloride with silver nitrate. Now these are again few of the uses commonly which are found. Essential constituent of our diet, used as a preservative for a number of food materials, mixed with ice to make freezing mixture, that is making of ice creams. It has a number of industrial application. For example, in the manufacture of soap for salting out. You will be studying about this process in the chapter 4, that is carbon and its compound. This process is called as saponification reaction. In the preparation of pottery glaze, and the fifth one is, it is a raw material for the production of other chemicals. This is also one of the very important use of common salt, which we are going to elaborate in the next few classes. So this is the part of your NCERT, which is this picture here is depicting the Dandi March, which was taken up by Gandhiji in during the course when our country was not independent. So this is something which is a important symbol where sodium chloride, which is the common salt, was involved here. So the very first chemical about which I was talking about is the caustic soda, which has the chemical name sodium hydroxide and the formula NaOH. So the chemical formula, as I have already told you, it is NaOH, and we have already discussed about the differentiation of acids and bases here. So from the formula itself, you can very easily identify that it is a base. And if I talk about the strength of this base, it is considered as to be a strong base since it ionizes completely in the aqueous solution. So the picture which you are able to see in front of you is the caustic soda flakes. When it is dissolved in water, then after we can form the caustic soda solution or sodium hydroxide solution. So when we prepare it in the form of solution, this is something I hope everyone must have seen in the science labs wherein we can use this particular chemical for different kind of reactions. So this is sodium hydroxide solution. Now, when we talk about caustic soda, how can we manufacture it? This is a very important point. And since I just now told you that this is one of the chemical which can be obtained from the sodium chloride. So let's see how is it done. So sodium chloride is manufactured by electrolysis of an aqueous solution of sodium chloride, and very importantly you need to remember the term of this aqueous solution is called as brine. So how can we define brine? Brine is the concentrated aqueous solution of sodium chloride. So always remember, whenever you are asked to define brine, B-R-I-N-E, you will write it is a concentrated aqueous solution of sodium chloride. Now the method which we are using here is called as chlor-alkali process. Why is it called as chlor-alkali process? Because of the products which are formed after the electrolysis, and the products are chlorine and sodium hydroxide. So the word chlor is representing chlorine and the alkali word is used for sodium hydroxide. So I hope you all know what do you mean by alkali. The bases which are soluble in water are called as alkalis. So that's why this process is called as chlor-alkali process. And at the same time, what apparatus we are using here is called as Kastner and Kellner cell. The apparatus which we are using here is called as Kastner and Kellner cell. So the details of the apparatus we are not going to do over here. You will be studying the same in classes 11th and 12th later on. But we are just going to have an overview how this whole process is happening. So sodium chloride in aqueous solution ionizes, as we all know, to form sodium ion and chloride ion. So this is the same thing what has been represented in the form of the reaction. Now water also here is ionizing to a small extent to produce hydrogen ions and hydroxide ion. Here the same has been written in the form of the reaction. So what will happen? Just have a look. Now when we will pass electric current through the solution of sodium chloride, hydrogen ions are discharged more easily at cathode. Cathode, I hope you all know, is the negative electrode than in the sodium ions. Here they are gaining an electron to form hydrogen atoms which combine to form hydrogen gas. So what is the reaction happening at cathode? It is H plus which is accepting one electron, and then after it is forming hydrogen atom and two hydrogen atoms again, because single hydrogen atom is unstable. So immediately it will combine with another hydrogen atom to form hydrogen gas here. Now what is happening? Then after chloride ions are discharged more easily at anode, which is the positive electrode, than hydroxide ion, and here they will lose electrons to form chlorine atoms. These chlorine atoms combine to form chlorine gas, and therefore the reaction which can be seen at anode, that this chloride ion which is being formed is releasing one electron, and the same can be represented in this form. I hope you are able to understand how is it written, because in class 9 you have been told about the structure of atom. So chlorine, when it is having only 7 electrons in its outermost shell, accepts one electron for gaining stability and for fulfilling its octet. So from chlorine it becomes chloride by accepting one electron. Now the same chloride ion which has accepted one electron is releasing one electron. So obviously the products will be one chlorine atom and one of the electron which was accepted by the same. Now since chlorine atom is unstable as such, in its atomic form. So the two of the chlorine atoms may combine together and forms the chlorine gas. Now what are the things which are left out in the solution? It is the sodium ion and the hydroxide ion. Now these two things which are left out in the whole solution will combine with each other to form the caustic soda, which is the sodium hydroxide. So you need to remember the reaction which is happening at the cathode, which is the negative electrode, and at the anode, which is the positive electrode. So if you combine all the reactions which are given, you will find that the sodium chloride, which is actually the brine solution, when it is undergoing reaction with water, because definitely when this reaction has to happen, the presence of water is necessary for the process of ionization. When we are passing electricity by the process of electrolysis, we find the products are sodium hydroxide, chlorine gas and hydrogen gas. And for sure we have to balance the whole reaction so that we are able to understand what is the ratio in which the products are being produced here. So the sodium hydroxide solution is formed near the cathode, which is the negative electrode here. And the three useful products at the end of this process are hydrogen gas, chlorine gas and the sodium hydroxide. Now if we talk about the uses of the different substances which are being produced here. So we will find the hydrogen is used in the manufacture of ammonia, which can further be used for the production of various fertilizers like urea, ammonia, ammonium sulfate, calcium ammonium nitrate, etc. All these names I think you all have heard already in the chapter crop production and management in class 8 only. Second use of hydrogen can be in the hydrogenation of vegetable oils. This is actually the conversion of unsaturated form or the hydrocarbon into the saturated form. The detailing of the same process will be done in chapter number 4, that is carbon and its compound. We can also use this hydrogen in the metallurgy process to reduce heavy metal oxides to the metals. Now the last one is the liquid hydrogen, which is mixed with liquid oxygen, can be used as a rocket fuel. Now let's talk about the uses of chlorine. Now when we talk about the uses of chlorine here, it can be used as the germicide or a disinfectant for sterilization of water in the swimming pools. You all must be knowing about the process of disinfection, which is actually killing of the germs or removing the infection, and that's why it is called as disinfectant. Secondly, the chlorine is used in the manufacture of bleaching powder, about which we will study in detail. It can be used for making the chloroform. Chloroform here is one of the organic compound having the formula CHCl3. Hydrochloric acid can also be produced with the help of chlorine, and there are certain explosives such as DDT which can be manufactured with the help of the chlorine. Now another use of chlorine is in the manufacture of CFCs, which are used as refrigerants. Although CFC is one of the pollutant here which is also damaging our ozone layer, but if we want to manufacture chlorofluorocarbon, that is CFC, we can use the chlorine here. Then after, we can use the chlorine in bleaching of wood pulp and cotton fabrics as well. Also in the manufacture of polyvinyl chloride, which is one of the type of thermoplastics and used for making shoe soles. We can use chlorine in manufacture of pesticides, which are the chemicals which are used for killing of the pest, which may damage the crops. Use of hydrochloric acid can be, it is used as a reagent in the laboratory. You all must have seen the bottles containing hydrochloric acid which are there. So it is a reagent in the labs. It is also used for making aqua regia. Now whenever we have to get our gold jewelry polished, so it is not the common solution which we can use for polishing. It is the aqua regia solution, which is actually 3:1 ratio of hydrochloric acid and nitric acid. So it is 3 part of hydrochloric acid and 1 part of the nitric acid. So that solution of hydrochloric acid and nitric acid in 3:1 ratio is called as the aqua regia solution. We can also use hydrochloric acid for cleaning steel in textile industries and in the manufacture of medicines and the cosmetics as well. Now, the different uses of caustic soda in the manufacture of soaps and detergent, for degreasing metals, in the paper industry, in making artificial fibers like rayon, which is also called as artificial silk, in the manufacture of dyes, in the petroleum refining, in mercerizing cotton. You must have heard about the mercerized cotton, that is making cotton unshrinkable. We can use the caustic soda for the same. And lastly, we can use it as a laboratory reagent. So these are the few of the uses of the different products which we are getting from the process of chloralkali. And I hope you all would be able to remember the apparatus. It is which is given over here. It is Kastner and Kellner cell. The process is chloralkali process because it is chlorine and one of the alkali which is being produced here, and ultimately we are finding the formation of the caustic soda with the help of brine solution, which is the concentrated form or the concentrated aqueous solution of sodium chloride. So that's all for today. In the next class we will talk about certain more other chemicals which are obtained from sodium chloride. Thank you and have a nice day, everyone.